Welcome everybody, and let's get into our action from last Thursday. Just wanted to look over a handful of points here, so let's take a look. Okay, this is one thing that's come up in a few of the other groups I've been working with, and that is really the partner of the receiver, in which case Lisa's standing here, but this pertains to everybody. And this is pretty standard where people tend to stand is in the middle of the service line on their side of the court. And as we all know, your main focus is going to really be that person there. So I would encourage us to move back a little bit behind the service line and put ourselves more in the center of the court to better handle anything that might be coming off of this person's racket here. So let's move on. Let's watch some points being played and see how it all pans out. Okay, so right now, let's move this up a little bit. Amy's dealing with a pretty tricky ball right close to the net, and Lisa's gravitating over there. Right now with Amy essentially being off the court, if she doesn't hit a winner, it's more important for, when you're in this position to just back up a little bit into the center of the court, because you've got to be available to cover as much court as possible at that point. Let's see what happens. She stays close, and there we go. So lesson learned. And again, if we look where we are here, again, if you have a pretty aggressive person here, this middle of the court is just so critical to defend. I think the first service missed here. And what's interesting, it wasn't missed, sorry. What do I know? Okay. That's it. And great move right there as the ball went to Amy's court. Lisa found a good time for that to sneak into a more offensive position. Love that move. And look how Lisa shadowed that ball to give Jennifer no opportunity to go up the alley. There we go. Good coverage. Okay, at this point, Jennifer's hit the ball up to Lisa's side of the court, pretty much on her single sideline. And whenever you're in this person's position, and it's Kim in this case, you want to understand the angle of deflection. And that point is going to be right around in here. Let's see where the volley goes off of Lisa's racket. And sure enough, it goes right into the center there where, Kim can get a racket on it, but that's a tough stretch for her, or for anybody for that matter. Okay, let's move on up. Okay, Amy, good return out wide, pulling Jennifer off the court. Lisa's tracking over there. What Jennifer's looking at from that position is, she's looking at a fairly sizable space in there. So it's tough because Amy, with Lisa covering that far over, you're going to have to cover more court. And, in a situation like that, maybe in a little bit further to the center, you're bisecting the angle a little bit better. So let's move on forward. And there it is. Oh, man. Good try. Okay, again, positioning, and be aware of where you are when you're starting the point. Being in the right spot at the right time can really help. I think at this point, for example, Lisa can be more to the middle of the box. Let's take a look at Kim on the other side. And anytime you're in this position, you got to really zero in on that person. It's okay to watch the server, but understand, don't trust that opposite net person, and be ready for them. Nuts. Okay, let's back this up a second. One of the harder situations to really position yourself on is when you do get lobbed, of knowing, where you need to go, because essentially when people switch, it's very easy to get out of position on the court. And in this case, Kim comes up with a great half volley over Lisa. And, being that Kim and Jennifer are in a pretty strong position on the other side of the net, when you're ever in Lisa's position there and you're switching off of this lob, as you make your switch to the other side of the court, go back a bit, because pretty much when you've gotten lobbed like that, your partner is going to be lobbing off the baseline, which means if she's not hitting a lob winner, someone's hitting a volley or an overhead. And let's see what Kim is going to be hitting here. She lets the ball bounce in front of her. And what she's looking at here is this space. And when you can back up and move this positioning right around in here, backing up, that allows you to be in a better position, better spacing to your partner. Your opponents have a smaller target to hit to. I have no idea where she hits this ball. Let's take a look and see what she does with it. She hits it close enough to Lisa where she can get a racket on it. Yikes. Okay, and there's the lob again. I think Jennifer's also coming in behind her lob. And when you're in Amy's position, helping your partner out, tracking down a lob, you're pretty much going to be lobbing. And from Lisa's position, yeah, you can see Kim and Jennifer up around the service line. Unless Amy hits a lob winner over their heads, they're going to get some form of volley or overhead. And whenever you're that person that got lobbed, just give yourself more time by being a little bit further back. So if Lisa gets at least back into this area, it makes her more viable to be able to stay in the point. I have no idea what happens. Let's take a look. Amy hit a good shot at her feet, and Lisa's going to take care of business there. Whoops. There it is. And that's, let's back that up. It's a good play by Jennifer, because she took this ball, and what she's looking at, it's pretty obvious what she's looking at. She's looking at this zone of the court right through here. And that's where it goes. It pulls Amy into that middle. And Amy does her best to get a racket on the ball, but the downside is she's been pulled into the middle, and this area of the court here has been vacated, and Jennifer knows that, and she knows where she's already going with this ball. And that's the value of going to the middle and pulling your opponent out of position there. So, good job. Okay, timeout. Just one last little reminder. Again, some of these things that as I've been watching more of these videos with people playing at the club, see a lot of common elements, and one of the elements is that, let's stop it right there, is this person right in there, is their focus on that person at the right time. And so if we move this forward, we can see Jennifer's taking a little quick peek back at her partner. Nothing wrong with that, to see what's going on. But as she turns back around, her focus goes back over the net Oh, she's looking at Lisa for just a split second. And it's just, it really depends on how aggressive this person is. Sometimes you play people that are very passive in that position. They don't intercept anything, so obviously you don't need to put your eyes on them. But Lisa can be pretty lethal at the net sometimes. So if I were playing on the other side of the net, I'd always keep at least one eye on her. Okay, so let's play this out. Jennifer tracked over to the ball. Lisa slid into the middle a little bit. We're looking good. There's a short angle from Amy. And at this point, what Lisa is aware of is that middle of the court there. And when your partner does get pulled wide, in this case, Kim is pulled wide, when you're in Jennifer's position, make sure that you slide on over and fill that gap in the middle as often as you can, because the odds are a lot of balls go through there, as we all know. And so here's a ball popped up. And so as Lisa's getting ready to hit this, hopefully she's identified that big gap in the middle. Let's see where she does hit it. And she chooses to go out wide with an angle. Great angle. That could be another option for you. So very nicely done. That's all I've got for you tonight. I hope you guys enjoy these little tidbits here. Again, my plan is to do a little bit more extensive work with this video. I think this is going to be a great added addition to improving our games out there. So we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.